On the surface, Lonely Mountains Downhill is a gorgeous, albeit familiar looking time trial and score attack game akin to the likes of the Trials series. Whilst there are some clear comparisons to be made between these two titles, Lonely Mountains Downhill is about much more than being the fastest or having the highest score. It's a game that wants you to reconnect with the world around you, whether that's by being fast, clever, or just staying completely still. The most striking thing about playing Lonely Mountains Downhill for the first time is the game's use of 3D space. Unlike most games of this style, Lonely Mountains is constantly shifting your perspective as you traverse down each of the 4 unique mountains. This, at first, makes the controls feel confusing, as you're constantly shifting which direction you are moving in, and this can lead to some unfortunate accidents because of clumsy thumbs. But it doesn't take long for you to get used to this extra dimension, and as soon as you do, you start to wonder why more games haven't implemented a similar idea. This shift in perspectives puts you on the saddle of that bike just as much as your controlled avatar, and you start to feel every corner, every jump, and every near miss with a breathless sense of wonder. This simple idea makes the whole world feel alive. Every nook and cranny feels explorable. Sometimes this will lead you to find faster routes to your next objective, but there are other times where the game tricks you into taking the nosedive straight into a ravine. These moments of failure do not feel frustrating because it's all part of the discovery. I would happily fall into a river 50 times in a row when the rewards for exploring are both objectively and visually satisfying. There is an elegance to the way you traverse each of the stages that lets you, as a player, connect emotionally to the world around you. You are not met with explosions or applause like in Trials or Joe Danger. You are instead met with green vistas, autumn leaves, and the campsite that your character has clearly set up earlier that day. The sound design doubles down on this, avoiding any traditional score altogether to instead focus on the world surrounding you. The sound of the wind rushing past your ears, birds singing in the trees, water flowing through a creek, all set within a beautiful origami art style that feels so deliberate and delightfully twee. Lonely Mountains Downhill wants to tell you throughout the whole experience that you as the player are not the main character, the world you occupy is. The bread and butter experience of Lonely Mountains Downhill is within its objectives. Each stage follows a similar framework. You first explore the course without any goal to get used to the turns and jumps that will be thrown your way. Then there will be a beginner set of challenges which, once completed, will unlock the next course or mountain, as well as new challenges such as the free ride mode, a high stakes ride with the only objective being to get to the bottom without falling. A simple but majestic challenge that will connect you to a course with the same passion and emotion as any character in a video game you have seen before. Though Lonely Mountains Downhill doesn't do anything particularly new, its implementation is genius. Each checkpoint on a course acts as a timestamp, so if you fall or you are going slower than you would like, you will always go back to that checkpoint at the time you passed it without losing time. Even before a course starts, you can toggle which objectives you would like to take on, so if you're going for a time trial, you can remove the few crashes objective and just focus on going fast. Not only does this remove the inevitable sense of disappointment when you miss one objective chasing another, it fundamentally changes the way you play the game. When being cautious, you can take things slowly and deliberately, often then noticing details you would have typically missed, like an alternative route or a message left by one of Lonely Mountains' Kickstarter backers. When taking on a time trial, you can take more risks and throw yourself off of ledges you would never dream of tackling normally, because there aren't any harsh penalties for failing. Lonely Mountains Downhill does everything in its power to make sure you are in complete control of the experience, to take on the challenges you want for the rewards you want. Lonely Mountains Downhill is a rich, rewarding challenge that has endless replayability thanks to its diverse set of challenges, unlockable modes, and customization options. What truly sets Lonely Mountains apart though is the care, love and attention that has been taken to make each course feel like its own living, breathing entity. Lonely Mountains Downhill is a video game equivalent of that camping trip that you always promise yourself you will take but never do, whilst hurtling at breakneck speed and flying across vast caverns. You will never feel more grounded, connected or alive. For more content like this, be sure to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Stay foxy.